Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with entrepreneur and CEO of Bookster, Scott Richmond. Hey, Scott, great to have you back.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And today, I want to talk about ratings, reviews, and all things PR with you. So, Scott, I know this may be a very broad question, but are there specific review metrics or benchmarks that indicate a book is performing well in the market?
Metrics is very subjective, right? And
Hmm.
I think there's some authors that if they get 20 reviews, that's like a big deal. And then there's other authors that need that, if it's a bestseller, whatever, it should have like thousands of reviews. So it really depends on, again, I don't, I'm not somebody who subscribes to like benchmarking necessarily. But if you want to, I would just look at who's comparable and be realistic about it. And, because there are people who spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to get reviews in and all that. And it's like, all it does is spend their money. It doesn't actually get a result. So it really has to do with, what kind of book is it? Where are you in your author journey? Talk to your publisher, talk to your PR people. There's so many people around you. I think the best thing to do is just never rely on just what you think it should be. Definitely get out there, see what's comparable, and, don't obsess over it.
Right, right. That makes sense. And how important would you say are good ratings and reviews for book discovery on platforms like Amazon, Goodreads, and Bookster?
They're definitely important. So, people want to know, hey, I'm buying a good book. And also that the impression is if there are no reviews, either no one bought the book or nobody cares about it or whatever, which could be completely not true. But basically it is a form of currency in the literary world. Especially for independent authors, you want to leverage the community you have. There's nothing wrong with Uncle Bob or whoever writing a review if they, especially if they read your book, of course. And you want to encourage your personal community to read your book and be honest about it and all that. So yeah, I mean, don't get too obsessed with reviews, which is what already said, and I'll say it over and over again. And obviously, getting a bad review can be very disheartening, but also you want to encourage people. If you know someone bought the book, say, hey, please leave a review. Motivate your people. If you're on social media, wherever, it is the currency. It does need to be there. You need to encourage people to do it.
And what strategies would you say authors could use to get reviews on platforms outside of, say, Amazon, such as independent review blogs?
So there, there's a lot of companies out there. Unfortunately, some of them are not trustable. Um, but yeah, like for Bookster, we do reviews. I mean, Kirkus Reviews is extremely famous, right? I mean, but there's a fee for Kirkus. There's a fee for some of these places. There's different organizations. There's a company called Author Buzz that's run by a very well-known author, and she actually helps people get reviews, things like that. Um, and then there's like different blog tours and all that. And of course, I mean, PR is going to get you in the hands of a lot of people, but doing a little search and look, just look it up yourself. Like look up a book you liked, see where it was reviewed. If it's comparable to yours, you know, go do it. But yes, there's companies like mine, like Bookster, like Kirkus, like, Publishers Weekly that, they are in the business of reviews besides also reviewing it, editorially.
Right. And what would you say, Scott, are some tips you'd have for authors looking to get picked up by larger media outlets such as Bloomberg, Adweek, and Complex?
All right. Well, I got some bad news. I don't know anybody who's gotten into uh those media places without a PR person. So I know plenty of people who've gotten in, and every single time they hired PR. So either they had a good PR agency, or they're with the big five, or like a very well established indie, and they're able to get in there. But again, don't be disheartened, and also don't spend thousands and thousands on a PR company just to get in somewhere. you know, unless it really, really matters, and unless it's gonna be really valuable, not just to your book, but to your career and the, you know, kind of your whole picture. But yeah, I mean, I hope I'm not giving bad news there, but I don't know anyone who's like knocked on Adweek's door and like gotten in there. Everyone I know, you know, pretty much had PR. And sometimes later on, you could, if you've gotten in the door before, you could get in the door again. That's a better way to put it. Like, I know plenty of people who've come back to there, but they always had some level of PR that got them in the door.
Well, no, that's great to know. I mean, it's the reality of it and it's important. But on the note of media, what would you say are some smaller media outlets that would benefit an author?
Well, I think, you know, Bookster, my outlet, like we really appeal to like Gen Z and millennial crowd. There's Lit Hub, you know, there's just so many different and there's groups on Facebook. There's, you know, there's just so many different places to go. And of course, there's like the book talkers and things like that. Although again, like kind of chasing likes, chasing popularity isn't like, on some level you want to have things be organic and
Mhm.
really just kind of look and say, who's talking about this stuff, that like, who's in that realm, who's in that zone, and just kind of look around. Um there's a lot of book blogs. They probably don't have a lot of readership, so you want to be careful about how you use your energy. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Well, Scott, thank you so much. That was great insight on ratings, reviews, and PR.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into today's interview with entrepreneur and CEO of Bookster, Scott Richmond. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.